Hi, my name's Brian Roach. I'm a new account executive with Confluent. I'm based in Colorado. Uh, I'm in week 3 right now, so I thought I'd use this opportunity to tell you a little bit about my new role, my new company, and what we do, and the challenges that we're helping our customers achieve. So first, from an objectives perspective, we're helping our customers with velocity. And what we mean by that is the velocity of incoming data into your organization and how can you automate actions off of that and achieve value from that data. Second is agility. Now, a lot of the companies that we're working with are leveraging microservices technologies and trying to move fast and use agile development frameworks. We are instrumental in that and allowing these new applications to have access to historical data as well as events that are streaming in. And then third, real-time insights. The days of waiting until the end of the day or the end of the week to get a report on what your inventory looks like or what your sales are, those days have passed. And if you need it now, you need it now. So taking a look at these objectives, let's talk about your company and if you are what we like to say, data driven. Most of the companies that we're talking to right now probably wouldn't say that they are data driven. Most companies right now are more infrastructure driven. And what we mean by this is most companies are looking at transactions and they're looking at the interactions between those transactions of their customer base or the data that they have. So what does infrastructure driven look like? Well, I'll give you an example of a customer that I've worked with in Utah and kind of walk through a scenario that they saw. So their specific line of business, it had some applications. There's a typical 3-tier type architecture. It's maps, had a bunch of databases for different purposes, and these are tied together and integrated. They had a data warehouse, and then they would tie this into certain SaaS-based applications. And all this was tightly integrated, and it worked pretty well. They had a good customer base. Their customer base was growing. They were happy, and they slowly wanted to add new features. And adding new features, it was more of a quarterly update. It wasn't real time. It wasn't pushing out new updates on a daily basis. But as they added these new features, their business grew, and they then later on actually ended up acquiring another company. And that kind of came in as a separate line of business that had applications and databases of their own. And then later on they expanded and they created a new subsidiary and focused on a different area of the business, and that was kind of line of business number 3, and kind of same thing, 3-tier application stack. And overall, this one here was actually out into the public cloud, so AWS, and then they had some in Azure. And then some of these legacy services here were actually on on-premise data centers, separate data centers, DC1 and DC2. And they constantly struggled with trying to integrate these 3 separate lines of businesses. They were constantly trying new technologies. For a while, they used an enterprise service bus to help with the interactions. And what they found is really all that did was create more point-to-point connections. Point-to-point connections, cloud services to data centers to different lines of business and different applications. And all these point-to-point connections were difficult to monitor and manage. And then as you wanted to update new capabilities in your applications, some of those point-to-point connections would break other pieces of their applications. So lots of challenges. There was duplicate data. We're replicating the data that's here, putting it here, putting it here, putting it here, putting it here. There was disparate data. There was, it was very serial, which means point to point. And at the end of the day, all of this equals slow. So, you know, a lot of companies that have this type of infrastructure stack and application stack today are looking to change this. And why? They're looking to change it because customer expectations are going up. Time to market is super important. You need to be able to get those new features out to your customers so that they stay with you, or you have a growing customer base. And if you don't, disruption is going to happen. Competition is everywhere. There's an increase in competition no matter what market you're in. And if you're not doing the disruption, you're going to get disrupted. So how is Confluent helping our enterprises achieve these velocity, agility, real-time insight capabilities and outcomes, and address some of these challenges of this legacy infrastructure? Well, what we're doing is we're creating a single event streaming platform. This event streaming platform is different from an enterprise service bus. You know, we're not writing point-to-point connections. We're creating a single place for anyone to write into and consume data from. So on this event streaming platform, we can pull in legacy systems like IBM, mainframes. We can pull in legacy apps. Legacy databases, we can put connectors in front of all of those. And then as your team wants to write new, say, microservices-based applications, they can write it into the platform and consume data from any of these points. You can write new applications. You can tie it in with existing, different software as a service offerings that you have. Ultimately, freeing up the data that you probably have between your lines of business and making it easier for your application teams to consume. Ultimately, this is going to lead to new features and happy customers that are going to stay with you. This platform was built on top of Apache Kafka, which was developed 10 years ago by the founders of Confluent when they were at LinkedIn. A lot of companies today will just use Apache Kafka open source and not have to pay any money for it at all. However, once they've reached a certain point in scale and they want to start moving some of this capability to more mission critical business applications, that's when they start talking to Confluent. So why Confluent? Number one, we're enterprise ready. We have the capabilities of disaster recovery, replication, security, role-based access control, all the enterprise capabilities that you need to trust running this platform. Second, we are proven and trusted. We have over 300,000 hours of running Apache Kafka at scale. And then finally, third, we're open. So no vendor lock-in here. You don't have to worry about that. We trust that our customers are going to appreciate the work that we're doing and the excellence that we do, that you're going to want to stay. We want to keep happy customers. So if you think this is something that you guys might want to look at in further detail, would love to meet with you and talk to you more about it. Typically what we're doing is we're working with maybe a single line of business to start and seeing if event streaming can be something that they can benefit from. And we're happy to help you with doing any kind of assessments around event streaming and help you better understand the technology. Thanks for listening.